grandfather Victor said to my father Walter, if you want to know how nature works, look at the engineering or the techniques that are used today and then make it in the total different way, 180 degrees opposite, and then you will find how nature works. For example, we do have the wheel where the higher velocity is at the periphery. So this is the centrifugal movement. Everything is thrown out. In nature, we do have the vortex, slow velocity on the periphery and getting faster towards the center. This is centripetal, from the outside to the center. And this means we concentrate, and this is what also we do. We concentrate if you think about the thing, and we don't throw our, we can let our ideas and mind wander, flow out centrifugally. But if nature builds up, this centripetal forces have to be greater, bigger than the centrifugal forces. For example, you put a little seed into the soil, and 20, 30 years later, there is a huge tree. What happened meanwhile? The seed first has to have an information, am I a fir, a beech, or whatever, what shall I be, which kind of tree? Then there is an impulse, a starting point, when the seed begins to grow. We, of course, need water, we need energy from the sun, we need nutrition from the earth, and different other things. But very important is that we have air with CO2, carbon dioxide. Because when the tree collects the water, the energy, etc., it also collects carbon dioxide. The C, the carbon, is kept, the O2 is given to the environment. And so, you see, the collecting forces are bigger than the parts that are thrown out of the system, so to say. So oxygen is given to the surrounding. And we do have other things that we need. We have to have time, we need space. And then when we cut the tree, we make wood out of it that can be burned, and then it's CO2 again. And there is another thing that is very important. Victor said, as in physics, you have a force, you need a counterforce. So if I press here with my fist on my hand, it's also the opposite direction as well. And Victor said, if there is so-called gravity, there has to be an anti-gravity. In Latin, gravis grave means heavy, and levis leve means light. If there would only exist gravitation, then all things would expand or go into the Earth towards the center of our planet. So these levitational forces, or anti-gravity, is used that all beings can grow against gravitation. And this is very important. Here is an example how you can put the mathematical formulas of my father Walter into form. It's a hyperbolic cone. The theory goes back to Pythagoras with his monochord, with sound and harmonics, and this is realized here in this funnel with steps diameter 1, half, a third, a quart, etc., etc. And we let now run water through this funnel. And up there you see this movement, slow at the periphery, faster in the center. We talked about the centripetal and the centrifugal principles in nature. When nature builds up, it prefers the centripetal, the concentration mode, and when, for example, a tree dies, it falls apart, so it's the centrifugal, so to say. And Victor says there is not only one existing, they are both existing, the centrifugal and the centripetal. And for example, we have day and night, we have hot, cold, etc., etc., etc. He says, and that's obvious, nature is polar. Like a magnet, you have the positive and the negative, the north and the south pole. You have everywhere, you have both things at the same time, like the famous yin and yang symbol with one color here with a dot of the other color inside. And so nature always has something, for example, when it grows, there's the falling apart inherent. It is in the system, consisting that when we are born, we go towards death. And so computers, for example, or technique is dual. We have on or off, we have 1 or 0, we have current or no current, and there is nothing between. So nature is not dual, nature is polar. And we have to think about which system, which principle should be the leading one, the concentration or the destroying, the centripetal or the centrifugal. We can choose. My water is yours.